Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, gives indication of significant progress made by Ghana in passing first review of International Monetary Fund program next month.
Expectation is that we would have a successful review. This will be a review of progress on the program. And if that review is very successful, it should help in terms of signaling progress in macroeconomic management and restoring confidence in our economy.
Also coming up, government to settle 2.4 billion cedis of the first coupon payment on bonds occasioned by the domestic debt exchange program next week. Meanwhile, government announces administrative extension of dollar-denominated bonds pension funds to August 25, 2023. Also coming up, West Africa's biggest economy, Nigeria, expresses interest in joining BRICS. We'll have an update from Foreign Affairs correspondent Blaise Soga. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. Well, first up, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has given an indication of significant progress made by Ghana in passing the first review of the International Monetary Fund program next month. The governor disclosed this when he addressed the media on recent developments at the bank.
Coming into town again sometime in September to reassess. So my expectation is that we would have a successful review. This will be a review of progress on the program. And if that review is very successful, it should help in terms of signaling progress in macroeconomic management and restoring confidence in our economy. So that's my wish, and that's what I expect to happen over the next 6 months or so. I'm fairly confident, though, from the data that I have seen, that the first review will be successful.
Well, the government is expected to settle 2.4 billion cedis of the first coupon payment on bonds occasioned by the domestic debt exchange program on August 27 and August 28. Now, this, the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, says is in line with government's commitment to the continued success and credibility of Ghana's domestic debt operations. The government in February 2023 announced a debt restructuring of its domestic bonds. Now, this was a major requirement to secure the $3 billion package from the International Monetary Fund program. While on Zoom with us, Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University, Professor Williams Pepra. Good afternoon to you. So, how significant is it that government has been able to settle 2.4 billion cedis of the first coupon payment on bonds occasioned by the DDEP in the lead up to our first review?
Good afternoon, Daryl. And thank you for calling me. So this particular situation is very important to Ghanaians and also bringing confidence back into the economy. This was based on the debt exchange program plan that government told the whole world that this is how we're going to go about it. So I was not expecting that government will have a plan in a way to default. This is something that they may have to make sure that it is paid on 27th and 28th as has been planned. It's an important feature of the whole structure of the debt exchange program. If something should happen, it may have an impact on the external debt, external creditors' evaluations and the cocoa bond syndications and the rest. That is the discussions that are ongoing. So this is very, very important, and it's good news. It points to the fact that probably government is getting back some kind of liquidity also into the system to be able to meet its debts. And it may give an indication that probably the rating agencies may have to change their mind on the ratings given to Ghana, because once we start paying our debts locally, it gives a signal that we are in a little bit of a better position to be able to honor our debts.
Meantime, we are told that there is currently 91% participation in the exchange of domestic dollar bonds and cocoa bills, and government has announced an extension to August 25. That's, I think, 3 days away. Government looks set to meet its target for this exchange, it appears, Prof.
So this is very, very important news, and the extension is in line. So if you look at the whole structure or where the problem is coming from, it's coming from our dollar-denominated bonds, the area that we don't have control. So if we are getting about 91% of those holding dollar-denominated instruments agreeing to a debt exchange program, it is in the right direction. And it gives some confidence that probably, based on the IMF program, by 2025, we should be able to see a turnaround, because a reduction or a deferment in the dollar payments now will mean that we see an improvement in our balance of payments, where we will not be the pressure on the CD coming from the exchange rate will reduce. So this is very, very important. It's good news to hear that 91% or 90% have agreed. The extension is in line. You have to be able to convince more people to buy into the idea of the debt exchange program.
Well, the other good news is the projection from the EIU that government is likely to reach an agreement with external creditors in the coming weeks, which will allow for restructuring of foreign loans. What are the chances that we'll reach that agreement before the first review?
So if you look at what IMF did with Ghana, it was something which came as lending in arrears. So they gave the facility to Ghana with the aim that Ghana will be able to talk to all its creditors to buy into the debt exchange program. So the external creditors bit was a requirement for this coming review in November. So it is very, very important that we achieve that kind of aim to get the external creditors to agree to a debt exchange program or a haircut or some form of it in terms of a reduction. And indeed, looking at the portfolio, I mentioned, as I mentioned again, they hold the dollar-denominated loans are our problems. So we may have to find a way to address it. And this external creditors agreeing to an exchange is very, very crucial. And we know those holding, those in the external creditors are aware of the risks when they were purchasing Ghana's instrument, and they know the requirement. All that we need to do is that we have to be able to convince them as a country, tell them the need for this particular exchange, and then also pointing them to what the requirement of IMF, and then probably have a very good way for them to be able to accept what we are putting on the table. I'm to be glad to see China also accepting to a deal like this, because they are also seen as our external creditors. And it will really help us because, as we know, about 5-point-something billion are held by China, which is very significant in the debt that we are holding. So they also accepting to an exchange or a debt exchange program will really support our economy. It gives some confidence. It points to the fact that probably the IMF strategies or guidelines are being complied with, and Ghana may seem to be coming back on track to see a financial sustainability.
Yeah, and based on the latest developments, you agree with the Bank of Ghana that significant progress has been made in passing the first review? We're on track?
I mean, the first review will help us make sure that we have tied a knot on all the needed things, because the first review ends all the says that we may have to make sure that by November, when they are doing that review, we have met all the needed requirements, especially with the creditors, both domestic and external, and other economic conditioning factors. Probably those ones are very they are easy for us to achieve. We are almost there. The difficult one is getting the external creditors agreeing, and from the news we are hearing, this is going to be achieved. So, fairly, we are on track. we see a positive review coming up, and it will bring some confidence. I'm not surprised that probably in 2025, in 2024, if not by, I'm just being careful, if not by the upcoming elections, we should see the economy being on normal. But we know that sometimes, or most times, Ghana, we are not disciplined when it comes to election period. So things may probably change a little bit.
All right, thanks for your analysis there. Professor Williams Reprise, Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University. I appreciate your time. Well, let's go to South Africa, where West Africa's biggest economy, Nigeria, has expressed interest in joining an alliance with Brazil, India, Russia, and South Africa under the multilateral framework called the BRICS. The decision of Africa's most populous nation to tilt towards these emerging powers potentially has an impact on countries such as Ghana, which share an integrated market with Nigeria under the Economic Community of West African States. Head of Diplomatic Affairs, Blessed Suga, has more from South Africa.
Well, that is also the case. We know that many more heads of states will be attending the summit, 50 of them, as we're told from official sources in terms of the attendance. But we're yet to see if that will be the case as the conference starts in a few hours from now. Ahead of the conference itself, the BRICS Business Forum is what's underway here in South Africa, where people from all over the world, private sector, are also trying to take advantage of the engagements that governmental bodies will be holding here in Johannesburg. Earlier today, the chairperson of the BRICS Business Council, Buzama Buzi, has been speaking about how she believes that the BRICS arrangement is indeed the future of world trade and global economy. So we're still here waiting to see what the outcome of this summit will be, but whatever be the case, we'll definitely update you and bring you up to speed with what's happening here.
All right, Blessed Suga with that update from South Africa, where the BRICS Summit is underway. Now, some investors and businesses have warned of diversion of more foreign direct investments if government fails to introduce some more tax incentives to local firms. This, they say, is key to job creation to support economic growth. According to Chief Financial Officer for B5 Plus Group Limited, Raul Chalapathi, Ghana stands a better chance to attract more investors if it continues to create a conducive business environment for investors. He spoke to Joy Business.
The National Business Honor serves as Ghana's flagship awards program, recognizing and rewarding excellence across all sectors. Chalepathy called for more public-private partnership.
If the businesses have to be supported, they should be given more tax incentives. The more tax incentives, you should allow more foreign direct investment into the country by giving, attractive incentives to them. Definitely, I'll tell you, I have worked in many countries, and Ghana is one of the best companies. The people are very good. They speak very good English. You are blessed with lovely beaches, very good, landscapes. You can invest. People can come and invest a lot of money on tourism. So there is a lot of positivity, actually.
Managing Director for AH Hotel, Joseph Tetenate, bemoaned the high taxes affecting the hospitality industry.
Directly, we do a lot of direct costs when it comes to food, and our business operations is dependent on food. But like I said, we're focusing more on giving the customers the best and to absorb the cost. So next year going, we know how to re-strategize, because our budgets were prepared for the year before all these costs came into play. But we're cool. We're working in line. We're satisfying our customers with good meals. Others are finding their fit, but we have been able to manage ourselves, and it's working perfectly for us as we speak.
Group Financial Controller at the Environment and Sanitation Group at Jospon Group, Adokalo Okpotu Paulo, called for a reduction in interest rate to save businesses.
The economy really affects us. The exchange rate really affected us earlier on, but things are quite stabilizing. So our CEO is very strong, and he wouldn't wait for the money to come in. He would actually go and look for money to do these things in advance, and it's very weighty on the company. So we hope that money will flow faster in the country and pay for the investments that we do, because we pre-finance a lot of things.
The National Business Honors seek to recognize companies and individuals for their visionary leadership.
Now, the Association of Ghana Industries is asking members to be heavy on reducing emissions to apply for carbon credits. The association says there is a knowledge deficit which is denying some members access to these funds. According to Chief Executive Officer Kwawu, his outfit has embarked on several moves to attract investors to boost operations. He spoke to Joy Business at a greenhouse reduction training event.
The Climate Action Programme for the chemical industry is implemented by the GIZ and funded by the Federal Ministry for Environment in the framework of Earth International Climate Initiative. Seth Kwawu explained the need for industries to use cleaner energy.
It is within the global world, funds have been created where if you are able to prove that indeed you are improving on your emissions, there's a record, there is documentation, there's an arrangement to indicate that indeed you are improving on your emissions, you can actually apply for carbon credit. So therefore, it is very important that people get knowledge about these things. And a lot of our companies really qualify, but unfortunately, they lack the knowledge, they lack the information, and they don't know where to go and who to contact. They will not be able to harness all these opportunities. So there are opportunities around this. And sometimes, on their own, they are doing something. Okay, if for example you are disposing your waste in a particular way and today you are improving that, you can actually record that, and on the basis of that you can get some funds into your company. So why don't you just take advantage of it? People are doing it, they see. Besides, most of the things that I'm talking about, it impacts on your bottom line, and therefore, whilst you are doing it to improve your bottom line, you can also get some money to support your operations.
The CAPSI project aims to enable key actors in selected developing countries and emerging economies to identify and tap mitigation potentials in chemical production, use and associated value chains.
And you're watching The Marketplace. The Chartered Institute of Bankers is 60 years and will be launching its anniversary on September 12th. The Institute's mission has, over the years, been to fully develop the academic and professional potential of practitioners in the financial services sector. This monumental event will mark the unveiling of the Institute's 60th anniversary theme and logo and the introduction of the Chartered Banker for Executive Leadership Program. In the studio with me to talk about this is Robert Jatto, who is Chief Executive Officer of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. Good to see you in studio. Yeah, we know each other outside of, of our professions. But so can you share with us the remarkable journey of the Chartered Institute of Bankers over the past 60 years and its contribution to the banking sector? Congratulations anyway.
Thank you very much. And thank you for giving us the opportunity. Let me say, Chartered Institute of Bankers, our mandate is to promote banking education and to regulate the practice of banking in Ghana. And that's an important mandate that we have under the Chartered Institute of Bankers Act, 2019 Act 991. The strategic interpretation of that for us is really developing trusted professionals for the financial services industry. And for us, our journey started in 1963, so we are 60 years old, and we are pretty excited about that. A few Ghanaians who studied banking in the UK came back and thought of the idea of setting up an institute. And that institute evolved over the years, housed by different institutions. Today we have an edifice at East Legon, which is our complex. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing, and I think that's the thrust of your question, is what's our contribution from central banking to commercial banking to investment banking. You find chartered bankers. But even most importantly, in 2020, we launched the Ghana Banking Code of Ethics and Business Conduct, which provides a uniform approach to and standards to how banks deal with internal ethical issues, but also their relationship with customers. And customer centricity is at the core of that. And most importantly, putting ethics and professionalism at the heart and core of banking is what we've been up to. We are pretty excited that we are 60 years, but that's certainly where the journey actually continues.
Well, since you bring about the issues of ethics, your theme for this year is redefining professionalism in banking through ethics. Correct. And so how has the Institute, I'm sure you started talking about about that contributed to raising the ethical standards in the banking industry?
Absolutely. So, like I said, this is our bread and butter. That's our core. And so, as I mentioned, in 2020, we actually launched the Ghana Code of Ethics and Business Conduct. And beyond that, we also embed in our curriculum and syllabus ethics and professionalism. And in addition, so every chartered banker is equipped with the ethical standards and core values within which to make decisions and judgments. And in addition to that, we support our members with professional development programs. So to ensure that you don't just have competencies, which are necessary, but also you have the relevance, the ability to continue to be relevant and create value for your institution. So for us, this theme is very contextual if you look at where we are as an industry and as a country today. But even most importantly, we think that putting ethics on the agenda of banks and bankers is an imperative, not just for banks, but for society, all of us as a whole. So.
And so this anniversary celebration will see also the introduction of the Executive Leadership Program. Tell us about it.
Excellent. So we are really excited about the Chartered Banker for Executive Leadership Program. And it's a program specifically designed for senior people, key management and boards of financial institutions across the country and beyond. And it's a program that involves really getting senior people to share their experiences. It involves mentorship, it involves coaching. But that's one part of it, or one of the models. The other models are actually ethics and professionalism. And that will be facilitator-led, by very, very senior and seasoned bankers. We have people from within the country and certainly outside in terms of partners who are willing to support us. But that's the second model. The third model is really on strategy, on leadership, on governance, and on sustainability, which is really our passion, and we see that as an important element of banking going into the future. But that's on the Executive Leadership Program. We also really redesigning our syllabus at the moment with focus on, again, ethics, on customer centricity, and on all the other core competencies that bankers need going into the future. So I'm talking about two things here: the new syllabus, which is our flagship chartered banker qualification, but also the Executive Leadership Program designed specifically for senior people.
And what else are we supposed to be on the lookout for during the celebration?
Sure, that's a great question. We actually have the launch on the 12th of September, and all our key stakeholders, key decision makers across the country and beyond will be there. And so we also will take the opportunity to unveil some of the key things that I've just mentioned, the Chartered Banker for Executive Leadership. But beyond that, we think financial literacy and education is key, and financial inclusion is very, very important given where we are as a country. But I think bankers, we have a responsibility to actually take the lead and lead the pack on financial literacy. So that's a program that we would be rolling out as part of the celebration, and all our chartered bankers across the various banks will be participating. In addition, we have the Ethics Conference, which is our usual national banking conference. This year it will be focused on ethics and professionalism. Then, of course, we have our Governors' Day, where you have a number of our stakeholders coming together. We'll crown all this with maybe some Carols Night and Thanksgiving event. And I'm super excited about the series of activities, but most importantly, the impact. And we are calling on all our stakeholders, our professional members, students, and others, media partners like yourselves, to get involved. I think that we have a responsibility, a collective responsibility as a country, and certainly as an institute, to begin to lead the way on ethics and professionalism. And I'm told that we shouldn't ask what your institute has done for you, ask what you can do for your institute. And it's amazing what we can achieve.
Well, it looks like an exciting celebration, and based on the things that you mentioned, we're looking forward to that. But I can't let you go without asking you about the banking sector, because it's been in the news for some time now. It's been a difficult couple of years for the economy. It has had an impact on the banking sector. What's the sentiment amongst the professionals in the banking industry? What's the outlook for the sector based on some of the things that we've seen happen? DDP, its impact on the books of banks and all of that.
You're absolutely right. I think the financial sector as a whole, not just banking sector has been in the eye of the storm. And that's how I describe it over the few years in the past. And let's face it, it's been pretty difficult. But we also know that our sector is resilient. And the more reason why we even need more chartered bankers, more qualified bankers, because we do have professionals who have been here before, and this is not the first time we've been in this kind of situation. But I'm absolutely confident and convinced that the sector is resilient and will continue to be resilient. I think customer centricity will be key going into the future. And banking the real economy will be very, very important, because we all know the need to support our SMEs and support the real economy going forward. And that's one of the reasons why the Institute recently did a research on SMEs, and we'll be having a dialogue on that as part of the celebrations. Great
to have you in studio, Robert Jatto, Chief Executive of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. We'll be looking forward to the celebration, on the launch of the celebration is on the 12th of September.
Right.
I appreciate your time in the studio. Our time is up here on the marketplace. For more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. You get the day's latest stories from over there, including government announces administrative extension of dollar-denominated bonds, pension funds to August 25, 2023. myjoyonline.com/business. We'll be back same time tomorrow.